Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo. Set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Somebody really wanted to hide, they could.
So it's pretty scary, honestly.
I don't want to stay outside too long. I don't know where this guy's moving around.
A community on edge as the manhunt into Travis Decker is fully underway. The entire community of Chelan County and surrounding areas are on high alert as there's high police and law enforcement presence in their community. Travis Decker is a 32-year-old Afghan vet that is accused of unaliving his 3 beautiful girls. His wife, Whitney Decker, blames mental health and the lack of VA services that caused this problem, stating that it is completely preventable. However, law enforcement states that they're hot on his trail, and the trail has moved. Their search efforts have shifted. We once learned that he was looking for jobs and looking to relocate to Canada. However, the path of travel law enforcement is showing he's migrating south, not north. We also learned from the sheriff that they have picked up the scent of Travis Decker in this new area. This is the information that I have been waiting on to determine whether he was truly on the run and a monster or just a broken man and in the woods waiting to be found. I guess time has told us, and time is showing us, that Travis Decker is a dangerous man that unalived his 3 beautiful children. Please keep Paityn, Evelyn, and Olivia, along with their mother Whitney, in your thoughts and prayers. Please uplift this community that is struggling to find answers and to locate a dangerous man. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Bullhorn Betty channel for up-to-date information on the Travis Decker case, as well as any changes or updates related to the 3 girls. God bless.
Well, welcome aboard. Where's my pushy button? Oh my goodness, didn't have it in my hand. It's Thursday. Wake up. And I even gave you guys some extra time to sleep. We've got some important information. I know many of you guys, if you guys don't sleep at night, you guys probably got the update last night, but we are going to go over it. We're going to analyze it. We are hot on the case of Travis Decker. The manhunt is underway right now in the surrounding areas of Chelan County, Washington, and they have not found him yet, but they believe they are closing in on him, folks. They believe he's either closing in on him. We're going to read some articles. We're going to give you guys some back information, and maybe we will pull up the Google Earth and, play around with it and see, take some time, half hour, an extra hour maybe, and just go over the Google Earth and see if we can kind of identify, maybe an easier path to travel through the woods that maybe they're looking into. We're hearing right now that they had picked up scent. That was posted in an article, I believe, to the Seattle Times. I can't remember where I specifically read it. Don't hold my feet to the fire. But I did read in one of the articles that the scent was picked up in this new area, which is several miles away from where he originally started. And the one thing that I noticed about it is it looks like he's actually closer to where he picked up the girls than where he had them. It looks like he's all the way over near Wenatchee, which is scary because we've deemed this man, even though it's unofficial, we're just the Bullhorn Betty channel. Nobody cares what we classify people as. But we here on the Bullhorn Betty channel have classified this man as a family annihilator. So there is still a person. I don't know if he's going there. I'm hoping not. But doesn't it look, we're going to look at the map just a little bit. You guys saw part of the map. It looks like he's going toward Wenatchee. That's a little scary. Anyways, good morning. The real Me Too is up in the house, followed by our beautiful Melanie. Oh, thank you, Melanie. You're always such a doll. When Sonia gets back, we're going to have to give you a shirt. And actually, before we get through the update, hold on. My ear is itchy just a little bit. Before we get through the update, that's what happens when the vibration from these earphones, get in my ear too much. I have seen Sonia communicating on Facebook, okay? So we know her hands are working now, okay? I'm sure she's in pain and probably can't sleep when she's on Facebook, but at least we know she's moving. She's moving, folks. So if you guys would like an update on our beautiful Sonia, which we pray for every day for a speedy recovery and are going to continue to do so, we did see her little fingertips moving, so it's a good sign. It's a good sign. We got progress coming on. We got progress coming on. Sonia, if you can't type this morning, but you're hearing me, we love you. We love you, and we want you to have a speedy recovery. Thank you, Melanie. Rebecca, it's nice to see you. Me and you followed me around. I got a stalker. And it's right here. This is my stalker. This is my friendly stalker. I'm just joking. We love you. Here's a big kiss from me to you. There you go. Dawn, it's nice to see you. Denise, good morning. Good morning. Kathleen, Frank, I just went up and passed all of you guys by. Sorry. I see you, Frank. Kathleen, it's nice to see you. Carla, good morning. Laura, good morning. It's nice to see you. Eeyore Blues, Mama. Hey. Connie, it's nice to see you. Lisa B. Always, good morning, my loves. Medic Biker, also healing. But I think you're about to start square dancing soon, no? You can smack me for saying I don't know where square dancing came from. It's been a long time. I don't think I square danced since I think the last time was 9 years old. Oh, good gracious. In 3 more years, I'm going to say 40 years ago. I'm adjusting. I'm not going to freak out. I'm not freaking out. Okay. I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to freak out. SRK, it's nice to see you. Does anybody else freak out like me when we start saying things like that? It's nice to see you. Kelly is up in the house. Oh, I almost forgot. April. I don't know if she's here. She might not be able because this was kind of later than I expected. But April, we're going to be going over an email April sent me. She probably doesn't want me telling it. I don't think she cares. She did a really good analysis, so I think she should get credit, but I didn't ask her for to use her name, so oops. So let's go ahead and see what we got here. Oops. There she is. After we get through our update, we're going to go through this. That's for our next show. Our next show on, I think it's for our next show. Yes, it's for our next show. So I went to Grok. I asked Grok a bunch of questions about Lily and Jack's case, and we are going to be covering that after this show. I want to say probably about 3:00 this afternoon. We're going to do a live on the main channel. If you guys would like to come over and participate in that, you're more than welcome to. But we're going to be going over what Grok spit out to me and what questions did I ask Grok? SRK, it's nice to see you. Kelly, hey, my love. Who else do we have up in here? Donna, good morning. It's nice to see you. Ooh, Dixie, hey, love, I hope you're doing well. She says, no way. Kylie, it's nice to see you. Good morning, Taurus. It's nice to see you, little orange man. Good morning. We're just having a, we got to have a little fun. We talk about such stuff because we're about to get real serious here. So before we get real serious, we might as well have, loosen up a little bit, right? So many of you guys know why you're here is because this case is pulling at your heartstrings. We heard 3 children missing. I saw this case come. I'm thinking in the back of my mind, after hearing about his history, being in the military and just hearing of these things that happened. This is before the girls were found. These were just my initial, many thoughts run through my head. I will tell you that when I'm analyzing these cases, because I look at so many different angles, because quite frankly, doing this has taught me to look at this stuff from a lot of different angles. And so I was I knew through the articles that I read on the surface. I didn't dive into this. I think we were doing Lily and Jack, and I was just all consumed in that. But this did run across my desk, and I was looking at it. I didn't run anything. I don't think I ran a story on this until after the girls were found. But we were monitoring the situation related to the girls. And I just really thought everything I was learning about that this was going to end, peacefully, because I had learned that his girls were his world. It just sounded like he fell on hard times. And with the recent, he can't have the kids overnight, I thought this was more of just, wanting the girls overnight, that the courts were being mean to him type of thing, with his history being military. We know, typically this doesn't happen from military people, veterans. It can, of course, mental illness does affect people in a variety of different ways. But again, just my assessment up front, I thought this was going to end much different than it ended. Now, there were some people in my chat that had this preconceived notion that this was going to end bad, and their guts were telling them and cueing them on a lot of stuff that mine wasn't cueing me on. So we ended up learning of the girls' demise. And that's kind of when we started going full force into this, because now we have this manhunt. And you guys know me still, again, not really thinking, based upon everything we were learning about Travis, did I think that he was anywhere but somewhere in the woods deceased. But I knew that there was the possibility, especially with us, labeling the family annihilator. And you guys, if you've watched me, you understand how I feel about that. It seems like the family annihilators always have the intention of everybody going, but somehow always fall short when it comes to them, when it comes to their turn. And so, I did have that, and I did talk to you guys about that, because I'm looking at this from multiple angles. We don't know what the right answer is. We know law enforcement is doing the best they can, but we also know law enforcement has made some strategic, not this particular department, just law enforcement in general, in certain cases, have made strategic errors that cost a lot of time and a lot of extra money. And one of those cases that we can kind of use as an example is the Brian Laundrie case. So I've been using that case because that's another case that I am ultra intimately knowledgeable about. And actually, how I got my name, Bullhorn Betty, was from the Gabby Petito case. So that when I was starting to hear about this case and learning about how unworthy, how hopeless, helpless, these are the types of things that kind of roll along with self-harm, no? So naturally, I was thinking this was a situation much like Whitney, the mother, thinks. Whitney Decker, she's the ex-wife of Travis Decker, and she believed that he just broke on May 30th. But again, we were getting a wildly different person when law enforcement was describing Travis Decker. They were starting to release a little bit of information, not all at once, just gradually. So we've been able to take this little piece and this little piece that they've been giving us, these little nuggets that they've been informing the public that they can inform the public about. And we've been looking at it. And one of those nuggets was, the first one, I think, was the possibility. And I want to put that on there because so far I haven't seen anything that supports from law enforcement. Now, there's a lot that I just want to put this caveat. I understand that every statement I'm making about this, there is the caveat that law enforcement must have more information than available to the public. Okay. So I just want to put that disclaimer and caveat on. Of course they do. And of course they're not going to hand their whole deck of cards to the public. So we have to understand that. But with that being said, we haven't heard publicly from law enforcement that they have found any of this caching in the woods, right? They haven't told us that we did find this backpack or we did find, this wrapper or every, things like that. Now, they were asked at the press conference. We're going to be watching this press conference here in just a few moments. But they did ask, have they found anything? And they did find some things. But quite frankly, it doesn't sound like the testing has came back on it to confirm that it was Travis Decker. And there were some statements that the sheriff did say. I like the Sheriff Morrison. I like how he's keeping us up to date. But he does gloat a little bit, a little prematurely. I'm just saying, just my overall. I like the guy. I'm not saying anything negative. I'm just giving you my honest opinion. I can like somebody and be critical of them. Don't misunderstand me. Okay. But he does, it's just some of his posturing. It's a little egotistical at this moment. Just my personal opinion. Oh, there she is. Her fingers are working. Well, hello, love bug. I hope you're doing well. I know you've got to be in an incredible amount of pain, but I figured even in an incredible amount of pain, I know your sleeping habits. So I know at some point you're going to come across here begrudgingly. I'm glad to see you, and I hope you have a blessed day too. And we are praying for a speedy recovery for you, an absolute speedy recovery. But I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh, and she still can crack a smile. Is that a smile? I think that's a smile. I can't see. Even with the glasses, it's too small on my screen. Thank you, Sonia. Thank you. Thank you. So we were hearing this caching, but again, like I was getting back to, we haven't heard anything publicly or anything officially that they found any of this. So it still is a maybe a theory that they may have had that may have or may not have been fruitful. We don't know any information about that. But there were some things the sheriff said that didn't, even though he's standing there confidently, there were a few things he said for me that didn't sound so confident or were subjective. So I want to kind of dive right into the press conference because I think it's important. And like, as I'm talking about, I was going to go over the People's article first and read that to you guys and then get over there. But now that we're talking about this, there's like an overwhelming amount of stuff I want to tell you that I can't really talk to you about until we play the press conference. Which the press conference is not really very long, but it's long enough. It's long enough to get us a good understanding of, why we're here. I guess would probably be the most appropriate. I'm trying to get all this stuff out. There we go. I think. Okay, so I think we'll go ahead and go on over to the press conference. I think it's going to be the most appropriate. We'll get this press conference kind of out of the way. Now, I will, as always, I can't contain myself. When I see something or hear something and I want to explain that to you or go back and listen to it, we're going to do that in real time. I'm not going to play this all the way through and then go back and show you these spots. We're going to stop it as these spots come up so I can explain my feelings on it and give you, I'm going to try to give you both sides of the perspective. If there's another perspective that you think I need to be focusing on when I'm doing my shows, you guys can email that to bullhornbetty@gmail.com, bullhornbetty@gmail.com. Because, I'm here. I try to listen to you guys. I try to follow these cases. I try to analyze them correctly. But sometimes I'm a human being, so I fall a little short myself. So if you think I'm missing and this is not just this case, this is for any case, and you think I'm missing a perspective or maybe not focusing on a good possibility and probability, you always email me and let me know why you feel that way. And if it's appropriate, then I will start talking about it. So I will ultimately be the decision maker, so don't get your feelings hurt if I choose not to. But at the end of the day, I would like to cover as many perspectives as we can, so we have a good full show, you know. All right, guys, here is the press conference. If you guys have already seen it, I'm glad you have. If you would like to see it again, you're more than welcome. This is going to be a little different because we are going to stop and chat. We're going to stop and chat, stop and chat, stop and chat. That's how we roll over here. All right, well, let's get started.
Our agency to seek justice and be their voice. Our thoughts and prayers go out to their family. We continue to keep in communication with them and make sure that we remind them we have not given up. We've seen the amount of resources that we deployed over the last 10 days, working with our federal, state, and international partners to ensure that justice is brought for their deaths. So again, I appreciate everyone being here. I want to give an update where we're at with our investigation, how our proceedings are going. At this time, the Chelan County Sheriff's Office is going to deviate our resources back to the investigation, working closely with the Chelan County Prosecutor's Office to ensure our case for murder and kidnapping are ready to go, ready to be presented, while our partners with the U.S. Customs and Border Patrol is going to continue to keep their units on the ground, conducting the search, overdoing the search, while we come alongside them. Our U.S. Forest Service deputy is out with them today, also helping them navigate some of our unique terrain over in the west end of our county. So we have not given up, but we understand that eventually resources start to tire out. This is like a fire that we've seen within our county numerous times. We usually see these teams rotating out after 2 weeks. We understand that we've pushed the men and women of our agency hard, along with the men and women of the Washington State Patrol, FBI, U.S. Marshal Service, Rivercom, our dispatch center also being stressed. So we recognize that we need to be reasonable, need to give them the opportunity to rest up and get ready for the second wave when we come in. Clearly, we understand that our investigation has evolved and it has matured. And with that comes a change in situation, which is going to come a change in tactics. You will see a change in our tactics as we proceed forward. You will not see the amount of resources that we have had out there, but you are.
So they're going to be taking a tactical and strategical change is what I'm hearing coming out of his mouth. Now, again, just to put the information out there so you guys understand it, while Sheriff Morrison has not given up his investigation to the federal agents, he has given up an aspect of the case, the search, the manhunt aspect of the case to the federal partners, to the federal government to try to locate this guy. Now, they are, as he says, resting their people, and they may end up joining that again, but right now they're taxed out. So they've taken that portion of the investigation, they've handed that over to the federal government while they're maintaining the homicide and kidnapping investigation, if that makes sense to you guys. They're kind of, even though this is one case, they are splitting the authority in this case. One aspect is to the federal authorities, and one aspect is maintained by the Chelan County Sheriff's Office. So I just wanted to explain that to you. Hopefully I explained that well. If I didn't, I'm sorry.
Seeing a different element of our approach as we continue to track down Travis, following leads and making it very clear that every single day Travis is out there, he's going to have to aim for perfection. He's not going to be able to make a mistake, because all we need is one mistake and one day to go in our favor, and he's going to be in our custody.
So that's what I was talking about. You know, I like the sheriff, you know, and you should come from a place of confidence and strength. But this is where I said I felt like maybe it's just the expression on his face that I felt like he was gloating just a little prematurely. That's all I'm saying. Still like the guy. He was very, very mild, you know, nothing major or anything like that. Just that aspect of the interview, that kind of smirk on his face. And I have to agree, you know, we need to come from a place of confidence and strength. And I think he kind of exudes that, but it was just something about the expression on his face when he was saying that. I'm like, you know, he seems to be a little boastful here, you know, just a little prematurely. So I don't know. That's just the way I felt. So I thought I'd point that out.
So I hope he's watching. I hope he knows that we haven't given up. You got to be perfect every single day, Travis. We only have to be perfect one day. So we appreciate the community coming alongside us. We cannot do it without the 80,000 plus citizens of Chelan County that have been a constant eye and vigilant force that we do not have at all times. We also appreciate our partners nationally that have come alongside us, assist us in following up leads. And not only nationally, but we've had partners as far away as Australia and Portugal that have done us the favor of being able to spread Travis's face and likeness throughout the globe to ensure that every single person knows near and far what Travis looks like.
Welcome to social media, Sheriff Morrison. We're happy to help.
When you see him, say something to us. We want to find him. We want to bring him to justice. We want to set up the opportunity for him to stand in front of our courts and our judges and face justice and hear the voices of Paityn, Evelyn, and Olivia, whose lives were senselessly taken by evil.
I have to be honest with you. His words are very comforting, right? They are very comforting. He seems like a man that wants to take this man. He doesn't want any more bloodshed, right? He doesn't want any more death on his streets. I commend him for that. But you know what I think about in cases like this, and you know what, maybe I'm wrong. I definitely don't think ever about the culprit, the suspect, the person that committed these. They're the least person I think about in any of these cases. Okay, what they go through. The only thing I want is them to have a pit bull attorney, so they, and that's for selfish purposes too, right? I'll be honest, it's for selfish purposes because I want to limit the amount of appeals these animals get. So even that, it's for selfish reasons. But I've got to tell you, one thing that I cannot, and I just hope he doesn't. I hope there's no more bloodshed. I hope, there's no battle with law enforcement. If he truly is alive out there, I hope he's able to come in peacefully, unharmed. But there's just a piece of me, and you guys know it because I've spoke it, and it is my truth, whether you agree with it or not. I'm sorry. It's a little brutal, but I hope that he does not put Whitney through any more because, at the end of the day, her kids can't feel anymore because that animal took their feeling away. But she can, and she has to be feeling a whole lot right now. And I just can't imagine that there's any justice in any of this. That's just how I feel. And I'm the first one that wants to fight for justice, but in this particular case, what justice is going to be had? I'd like somebody to tell me what justice is going to be had if they find him dead or alive. What justice is really truly going to be had in this case? My concern right now is not him. It's Whitney. And what she's a strong lady. She's proven she's a strong lady. But you know what? She doesn't deserve any more. She's been through enough. And that's going to always be my position on this case.
That's all it was. We remain committed here at the Chelan County Sheriff's Office with our regional partners, the Douglas County Sheriff's Office, East Wenatchee PD, Wenatchee PD, State Patrol, to continue to pursue justice and make sure their voices are heard. You're going to hear further from our U.S. Marshal partners to kind of elaborate further on how they're going to also assist us in the tracking process. We have not stopped our investigation. And again, we understand that the results from our crime lab processing from the Washington State Patrol, thank you, Chief Batiste, for your continued assistance on this, are starting to come back. We want to make sure those are properly processed, additional leads and interviews are conducted, and that, again, our case is ready to go to court when Travis is brought to justice. So I appreciate your time. I will answer more questions, and I'm going to allow the U.S. Marshal Service to take some further questions from you, the media. But again, I appreciate all of you being here. This is the kind of group effort that's going to take to bring justice to this case. Please make sure you keep their names in your mind and that we bring justice back for those young ladies. Girls is what I've understood the family would like me to refer to them as. But they're deeply in our minds, and we appreciate it. Thank you.
So now we're about to hear from the big guy, okay? The head honcho in charge, that's now newly in charge of this search efforts. Then after that, we're going to hear back from the sheriff, and we're going to be focusing more on the sheriff's statements than the guy that's about to come up. We're going to listen to his statements, and I may have some comments. I can't remember if I have some comments through here or not until he starts speaking, but if there are some, we will. They're going to be very limited because my focus is really what Sheriff Morrison says closer to the end.
Thank you, Sheriff. Chief Brown with the U.S. Marshal Service, Eastern District, Washington. Appreciate everybody being here today. the community support from our law enforcement partners, which the sheriff has already enumerated, and you as a community has been greatly helpful to us. With that support, we're able to involve ourselves and focus on the fugitive investigation. Part of that is to include deploying our rapidly advancing manhunt program. That program brings resources from all over to include funding to support your community, the sheriff's department, border patrol, and all the other resources so we can navigate the terrain and locate and apprehend the fugitive. We will not stop. We will keep going. He just has to make one mistake, like the sheriff said. We will find him. He will be brought to justice so the community can heal. Thank you.
With that, we'll take about 5 minutes for questions for either two.
Has Decker left any physical evidence behind
Here we go.
Areas that you guys have received tips about?
We have found
Indicating that it's him.
We have found items that are of interest to us that perceive that it could be Mr. Decker. We've also continued to follow up with some of his friends and family, and we believe that we're closing in on his trail.
Sheriff Morrison, what? So let me go back. Let's. Sorry, I was on the wrong screen. I haven't been SRK's comment again. So, not really liking that statement too much because to me it's not confident. But in all fairness, this stuff does take some time. I have to believe right now in this world, I know people, this would be considered a high profile case, an urgency. This would kind of go up the food chain with testing and other things because it's an active and ongoing search in the state of Washington. So you got federal partners, everybody kind of, making sure that like testing DNA. So we should be having testing for DNA coming back like in 24 hours. So I anticipate that they have his DNA on file at this point from the girls. They would have his True Blue DNA, especially from having the truck where he's sleeping in. So they have a good DNA profile for Travis Decker, and it's known to them. They're not waiting on it. This day and age, they would not be waiting on the DNA for this subject. So they've got the DNA makeup. So anything that's collected and brought in, now we don't know when the stuff was collected. He doesn't elaborate on that. It could have just been found earlier that day. But if it was something that was from a few days prior to, he should have the results back for those. So I'm not, it really depends on the circumstances, not liking the confidence of this answer right here about, did they find anything personal? Yeah, they found some items of interest, right? We know from the Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers case, there were several items of interest, including eyeglasses that were on the side of the road, some black pants that had a stripe in it. There were like an adult diaper out in the field. There was also a bed mattress topper behind Worsham's General Store. There were items of interest, but it didn't mean those items of interest were directly related to Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Just like they've collected some items of interest, you're talking about an area where it's kind of off grid. A lot of people love to be out in nature in this area. They're on the hiking trails. They themselves go off hiking trails to do some exploration and other things. So the idea of having, and human beings are pretty dirty. So they kind of leave trash. Some of the people out there, a majority of the people out there are very conscientious about the environment because they love the environment, i.e. they're out in the environment, right? People that don't love being out in the mountains or hiking or out in the environment are not going to be out in the environment in mountains hiking, okay? So they love it. And so they have this almost, self policing of cleaning up their mess, but some don't. So you're going to have some trash and other things out there in the fields, and maybe some things that were dropped on the hiking trails that over time have blown into different areas of it. So this stuff about, I can understand why he's saying they are items of interest, but they still have to do some testing on them to find out if they're directly linked. But I would think if they came, if they found them longer than 48 hours previous to this press conference, they should know whether they belong to them, in my opinion. Just my personal opinion from what I know and how I believe that they are processing this case. But we're going to keep moving on. Let's listen to the next question asked. Actually, let me go back. Now let's listen to the next question asked.
Of interest to us that perceived that it could be Mr. Decker. We've also continued to follow up with some of his friends and family, and we believe that we're closing in on his trail.
Sheriff Morrison, what can you tell us about yesterday's possible sighting at Blewett Pass?
Again, this just emphasizes the importance. If you see something, say something. We're appreciative of those group of hikers that were up there. Had more acknowledged us as our flight patterns were up there. And then just the behavior that we saw from the lone hiker did not match. That was typical with everyone else we were seeing up there.
So that means law enforcement, in my opinion, based upon that statement from the sheriff, actually saw the individual the hikers were believed may be Travis Decker. So this was the possible first sighting. Now, again, going back, this is not a slam dunk. That does not mean that this person is truly Travis. I believe that they're hot on his trail. I personally, you guys know, I follow these cases, and I didn't believe he's out there, but new information makes my processes change. I believe he's out there. I believe dogs have hit on their scent. So I do believe that this is a good lead and a good sighting, just me personally, even though it hasn't been corroborated as such. With that being said, he's ill-equipped for this terrain, and if police saw him, that means they truly are hot on his trail, and I believe they're going to be closing in on him very, very soon. But I also believe he has expert opinion, or excuse me, expert education and knowledge and experience in this rugged terrain. And I truly believe more experience than some of the sheriffs that are searching for him. And that's not a dig at their department. It's the truth. It's my truth. It's the reality of the situation. And I think them giving this aspect over to the federal government was a very selfless act from the sheriff's office, because he knew it was the right thing to do for the case. But because this guy's in the woods, because I have experience in the Brian Laundrie case, because the similar situations, I mean, almost verbatim, the guy's on the run, Brian Laundrie's on the run. They're where he was last seen or following a track, ground zero. And then they up and move strategically and tactically move the search 45 minutes away, like they did to Carlton Reserve, just to find out the person that was out there is actually another fugitive and not the man that they're hunting for. And literally, if I could say that, so far, the reason why I keep bringing this up is because so far this is exactly what they did in the Brian Laundrie case. So I was very much involved in the Brian Laundrie case. I'm monitoring this particular case, virtually, and there are some. So I'm just being very cautious because I've seen this before. Okay, that's all. Not that this is going to end like Brian Laundrie's case ended. I'm just saying that a lot of the same elements and same things that happened in his case are happening in this case. And it's telling me, wait a minute, we were told they were hot on Brian Laundrie's tail. And at the end of it, we found out that he was deceased in the woods since the day he walked out his front door. So clearly it wasn't him that they had been tracking, for 5 weeks. So I'm just very, cautiously optimistic. Here we go. Cautiously optimistic.
there. So again, that sparked our interest. We did put a ground unit on there to continue tracking the prints that we had. We continue to track that down in Eagles Creek and up in the Valley High area. So again, we appreciate everyone, even on the back trails. You need to remain vigilant. And again, we encourage you not to approach the subject. He is still considered dangerous, but please, we need as much information and help from the public as we can get. As we've seen in the past with other manhunts, it is going to take a group effort in a community in order to bring this to a conclusion.
Can you see what changed from yesterday to today? It seems like you guys were close yesterday and everyone was kind of on edge. I'm just wondering, what about those tactics changed today? It seems like you guys.
No, our tactics have still continued. We still have a ground team on there. We have dogs out there that we're tracking leads. We're going through sightings. We're also doing trackings of what we have found with footprints. So nothing has changed from yesterday. We've just started to head in a different direction.
First time we've learned of footprints. They have tracked footprints. Now he says footprints, not shoe prints, which is, it can be interchangeable. I'm not gonna. I think it's shoe prints versus footprints, but you guys get the gist. This is the first time we're hearing about these alleged footprints and tracking that, the footprints thereof. So
until that time, our ground units are still on the ground. We still have resources within the Chelan County Sheriff's Office pursuing that, and we'll continue to hunt. Yes, ma'am.
Concerned that he could be going a different direction towards the Tianaway Trail, towards Clayella?
Absolutely, and I've already been in contact with Kittitas County Sheriff Clay Myers this morning. We know that he has resources on the ground as well. There is nowhere that he's going to be able to go that we don't have units waiting for him. King County Sheriff's Office has already been here assisting us. Snohomish County, been in touch with Okanagan County.
So I think the question was, I didn't hear, it's hard to hear their questions. And if you guys really want to hear their questions, you're going to have to turn the volume up. And then when he starts talking, it breaks your ears. So, but you guys can do that at a different time. I'm not going to do that to you guys. If you want to do that individually, you can. So it makes it hard to speak. But I think that she's talking about the migration pattern, about, he's going a different direction. Because remember, they found his phone. They had some information from his phone that led them to believe that he might be trying to head to Canada. He was looking for how to relocate to Canada. He was looking for jobs in Canada. The neighbor had come out and spoke and said that he had just talked about starting a new job out of state, or working a construction job out of state. So we were hearing all these things, which led us to believe that he would be having a migration path of north. And everything that we're learning from law enforcement today is he's actually moving further south. I think originally they thought it was to get past those alpine lake wilderness mountains, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure. And his pattern, when you look at it, it's like parallel to where they're searching for him now, is like parallel to Wenatchee, where this whole story started to begin with, which again, it's quite bizarre, because it makes you wonder, where is he going? Where's he trying to go? I don't know.
We have Douglas County Sheriffs in close contact. They have the Grant County Sheriff today. He is surrounded. Washington State knows who he is. We're going to continue to be in there, and he's got a lot of ground to cover. Eventually, he's going to tire, and he's going to make a mistake.
How confident are you that that lone hiker you guys spotted is Travis?
We feel pretty confident that it could be him, but again, we're not going to ever go out and say 100% until we have him in our.
So we feel, again, it's one of these things where they're saying they feel confident that it is him. So that is an important statement, because they haven't confirmed it to be him. Now, again, this, even though he didn't state this in this press conference, and maybe he should have, but I did read reports from media that law enforcement, and I'm pretty confident it was Sheriff Morrison that made the statements in this article, that they had found scent, that the dogs had picked up on a scent. and they were tracking that scent and they were confident they had the right area. Something to that effect. I read or watched on a little clip video, like a news clip that maybe they broadcasted it to their area out there. But I know for a fact that I remember hearing the scent, and I remember doing a video when I heard it, and I'm like, this is what I was waiting for. Actually, I think that was the intro video. So I think I just dropped it yesterday or the day before. And I truly believe that's I don't want to say I truly believe it's him, but I truly believe that's enough to support that he might be in the area, because we talked about the travel of scent. It's not traveling that far. It's just not. So if they've got and dogs have picked up on his scent, um, then that means there's no way he would be in that area, a scent in that area, unless he truly is fleeing on foot and on the run and in those woods. So they've produced enough for me to believe he is on the run, and that is truly who they are tracking. But again, I have to tell you guys my experience, and I have to, caution you, because what if? What if we have a similar scenario and we find out this guy they've been chasing is just another fugitive hiding in the mountains from the law enforcement? You know? So I do believe it is him, me personally, but I've also had these experiences that I wanted to share with you guys. I have confirmed that the Chelan County Sheriff's Office is communicating with their folks by Facebook. It doesn't appear that they have any other account. I've checked X, I've checked other accounts, just to see if because there was some releases. The Chelan County Sheriff's Office did release to the media partners some search photos that they took while out in the field searching, but they're not on their Facebook group. Those came, I would have to think that those were shared to their media partners by email. So for those that are, I'll try to find it and get those uploaded for the people that are covering this case that need those search photos. I will try to find and locate those and get copies and get those out to the public, because it doesn't look like they're publicly available. And guys, they do have a website. This is another thing that I learned. They do have a website. It is the Chelan County Sheriff's Office, and this is where they are posting their media, their press release and press release updates. So I'm going to read this one, and then we'll get back to finishing up the press conference. And then lastly, we're going to get over to April's email and read that and discuss that. So this came in yesterday at about 4:30. 4:30 their time. So 4:30 their time is 7:30 our time. Okay. So I just, for the East Coast, they're all the way on the West Coast. They're right above California. They're on Central Time. So their 4:30 is my Florida time, 7:30. So tracking teams believe they are on Decker's Trail. Community support and tips are still needed. So they're calling for tips. Me personally, I just think everybody needs to stay out of the area. No hikers, no nothing, because I just worry about their safety. But, you can't control people. So you just try to tell them, please, if you're going to be out there, be safe. But reality is I would prefer nobody that's hiking or, there for their vacation to please stay off the grid. Just stay off just for a day or two until he leaves that particular area. He'll be out of that area fairly soon if they don't catch him first, in my opinion. First off, we are at CCSO. Want to thank you for the countless hours spent on this search by men and women of law enforcement from vast numbers of agencies across the region, state, and nation. The amount of work that has been accomplished thus far could not have happened without them, and we are forever grateful. Our office recently received tips from a hiking party who stated that they had spotted a lone hiker in the enchantments area who appeared to be ill prepared for the trail and weather conditions and appeared to be avoiding others. Tracking teams immediately acted upon the information and spotted a lone off-trail hiker from a helicopter near Kolchak Lake who ran from sight as the helicopter passed. Additional assets were called to the area while they developed a plan to track the individual. Teams later picked up a trail and deployed canines to the area, tracking the subject to the area of Ingalls Creek Trailhead on Highway 97. Everything seems to be concentrated around this Highway 97. Hikers, if you have been in the enchantments area within the last week and have seen anything suspicious, please. So they're asking for any prior suspicious. So anybody that's been in this area, if you've seen anything that you didn't think was important, and now you're looking back on it, realizing that there was a manhunt and you did see somebody suspicious out there, please reach out to their tip line. They are seeking your information. Additionally, if you were a solo hiker in the area recently, please contact the tip line. So they're also requesting, if this person was you, they understand they're looking for Travis Decker. So if you were the lone person in the woods that everybody thinks that you're Travis, please let law enforcement know that you're not Travis Decker and you're just living off the woods and want people to leave you alone. As the search continues in the area, we are asking anyone who may have a cabin or reside in an area report any suspicious activity. Lock your doors and vehicles and look out for your neighbor's property. If you have any cameras, including trail cameras in the area, please check them or submit tips to the U.S. Marshal tip line with a location of the camera for law enforcement to check. While federal agencies lead the continued search, CCSO detectives remain strongly engaged on the murder investigation, processing evidence, and tracking down more potential evidence to build a strong case for the prosecution. We want to sincerely thank the hard work of our detective division, led by Sergeant Lewis, and East Cascade SWAT team, led by Sergeant Frank, Sergeant Foreman, and Deputy Eggle, who have put in several hundred combined hours of work since locating Evelyn, Paityn, and Olivia deceased on June 2nd. For our citizens and our community, we are grateful for the outpouring of support you have given all of our members. A special thank you to the Wenatchee Blue family, Soup Ladies, and other local entities that have provided all the law enforcement personnel with meals, snacks, drinks, coffee, bug spray, sunscreen, and other countless essentials that kept us moving. We also want to thank Governor Ferguson for authorizing the National Guards to assist with the search. For clarification, they are providing air assets to fly in support of the search and logistical support to search teams. CCSO remains steadfast in our commitment to conduct a thorough investigation and the capture of Mr. Decker. United States Border Patrol has taken over operations and command for the search of Mr. Decker. So our United States Border Patrol is in full, they're the ones that took over, they're in command, okay? They're in command. And like I said earlier, there's two aspects to this, the murder investigation and the manhunt. So the U.S. Border Patrols are commanding the manhunt and the manhunt only. Under their direction, they are continuing to follow up on tips from the community while working closely with other federal entities, while we, along with our regional partners, remain available to assist where it is needed. We ask the public to report tips regarding Mr. Decker's whereabouts to the U.S. Marshals Service via their tip line or website. The U.S. Marshals Service, the United States Marshal Service is offering a reward of $20,000 for leading to Travis Decker's arrest. The suspect should be considered armed and dangerous, but above all, he is a dangerous man. If you see Travis Decker, please call 911 immediately. Do not attempt to contact or approach him. Anyone with information is urged to contact the nearest U.S. Marshal's office. The U.S. Marshals Service Communication Center is 1-800-336-0102 or U.S. Marshal Service at www.usmarshals.gov/tips. Sheriff Morrison, along with representative from the U.S. Marshal Service, will conduct a press conference, which we are in the process of listening to. So let's go on ahead back to and finish up our press conference with Sheriff Morrison.
Sheriff Morrison, when the dogs find Decker, how does that process work after that?
Again, Mr. Decker is going to be able to dictate how this ends. We've encouraged him time and time again to give up, do so peacefully. That's what we're aiming for. But again, Mr. Decker is going to be the one who's going to dictate how this ends. We do not just deploy dogs just to deploy dogs. They're there to assist us in a tracking process and, of course, to protect the handlers. But he's going to be given the same professional courtesy as any other citizen within Washington State or the United States. We're going to follow de-escalation principles that are followed here in Washington State. We're going to communicate. We're going to do contact and cover, maintain our distance. Our intent is not to hurt or injure him. It is to bring him to justice and make sure that he's in good shape so he can face the trial.
Are there anything as far as motive goes?
Nope. And again, I've said it before, I don't think the motive would even matter. As far as we see it, 3 young girls have been killed. I don't think the motive is going to matter.
Are there any updated pictures of the person that have been done or any game camera footage or timers?
We're continuing to reach out and talk to different residents throughout the Valley High and the Ingalls Creek area to see if they do have any cameras mounted in their house. Again, the most recent photos we had is what we've shared. That was a couple days before he went off grid and, of course, was last seen up the icicle.
Have there been any found supply caches, reported burglaries, and why do you think Decker is now armed?
I don't think any information put out that he's armed, but I mean, I certainly feel that he is dangerous. If any of you remember the search that we had about 1.5 years, 2 years ago in Kittitas County, we recognized that subject was raiding campground.
So what he's going to explain to you is so far there have been none of these reports reported, and he's calling if anybody is missing anything or sees anything suspicious to please call that in. But again, this is, I would expect if there's no caching, this guy's been out there in the woods for 7 days. He's going to need something somewhere. How is he getting his supplies and where is he staying?
He had broken into the Liberty grocery store. So again, if you're out there and you notice that you have a vacation home out there or campsite, we want you to keep track of your supplies, of your cabins. If you do have things that are missing, even if it's minor items. In that case, in the previous manhunt, we do know they were just taking a couple items out of coolers, but it was those campers that were attentive and realizing how many supplies they had. This could be a way that he could continue his path out there.
So no biggest challenge right now?
Terrain. I mean, we have a very unique terrain when you get to the west end of our county. Again, I mentioned it before, 87% of our county is not accessible by road. If you go out there, it's steep terrain. It's heavily wooded. It's not the easiest to access. We have the Pacific Crest Trail, but another unique feature we do have in our favor is that we are a tourist destination. So we have a lot of people out there also recreating on those trails. So we're encouraging them, if you are going to come here, of course, be safe, but help us be those additional eyes and let him know that he has no safe spot to go.
Sheriff, is there a barricaded suspect situation that's not on the pass? Is that illegal at all?
We did get a call of a potential subject that was in a residence up in the Valley High area. Based off the information we got from our sergeant that briefed the administration here, that did not come out to be a valid call. But again,
so that one call was not Travis Decker. So again, coming back to how is he surviving and where is he staying?
We're going to continue to handle every single lead that we get as a valid complaint.
Can you share what those are?
New tactics as in searching and or in how we contact people?
Both.
Okay. So, I mean, anyone that has been following Washington state law over here over the last several years, of course, we have Washington State's de-escalate Washington, which was I-940. And, of course, it's just how we contact. I mean, we're going to control our pace when we're out there. We're working on contact and cover officers. We've invested heavily, thanks to our county commissioners and other federal partners, with less lethal tools. Again, we're not looking to injure anybody. We just want to take the subject into custody and make sure he stands trial.
I know there's state and local and federal agencies. Are you guys working with Canadian?
Are you talking about which partners we have? Sorry, getting a little bit of background. Yeah.
Are you guys working with any Canadian agencies?
I did have contact today with some enforcement agents up in Canada. We continue to work with our prosecutor's office on that front. But again, we've appreciated all the assistance we've had.
So they have agents in Canada. So these are we listen to these press conferences not for the mumbo jumbo, not for the thank you to our federal partners and stuff like that. It's to get critical information that we did not originally have. So I hone in on only I don't really listen to all the fluff. A lot of these press conferences, they need the fluff, right? Because these federal people came in and threw money at their problem. And so they want to thank them because it's the right thing to do. But it's also a lot of fluff. I mean, think about it. If we were to calculate it out of this 13 minute, he probably spent 3 or 4 minutes thanking partners, right? So this is critical information right there. Let's go back and listen to that.
We continue to work with our prosecutor's office on that front. But again, we have enforcement.
Sorry.
Are you guys working with any Canadian agencies?
Oh, he got
prosecutor's office on that front. But again, we've appreciated all the assistance we've had internationally and nationally.
Oh, I didn't get back to it, but you guys heard it. They got federal partners in Canada
assisting us. I mean, we're a medium-sized agency, and we recognize without the support of our partners federally, state, and locally, we certainly would have a unique challenge that I don't think we'd be able to take on by ourselves. So we're thankful for that.
One more question, please. One more reopening Icicle Road.
Icicle Road was already opened back up. I know the U.S. Forest Service, who's also been one of our partners we've been communicating with, has put out in their press releases that the enchantments is open again. Again, we'd encourage people to be cautious when they're out there. It is a very wide open terrain, and now you have the potential of a subject who is perceived to be dangerous out there as well that's unaccounted for. So come prepared and know that there's lots of other places here in Washington State you can recreate. Of course, we want you to come here and visit Chelan County, but if you do so, please be careful. We appreciate.
That is the most responsible thing I've ever heard a sheriff do. They always try to, encourage people to still come. And in a sense, he's discouraging a little bit, for the safety of them. And I like hearing that from the sheriff. And, in all fairness, when they opened up the Myakkahatchee Creek Environmental Park, we were the first people in there. We were waiting for them to open it back up so we could hunt for Brian Laundrie. So I have to think that with this $20,000, as they open up the enchantments, as they open up other parts, as they may open up Rock Island Campground, I'm pretty sure that there's going to be some looky-loos going in there or people that are just like me that want to search for answers that are going to be going in there and searching the place as well as soon as it opens. I mean, we're the first people in there. We spent 2.5 hours trying to locate where Brian Laundrie's body was by an aerial map by WFLA. That was it. That's all we had. Not even an aerial map. We had a screenshot from their helicopter down over the scene. That was the only, and it was just this. I mean, that place was this big. We had to try to find something that looked like this in vast nowhere. Sorry, I thought that was my water that just spilled, but it's my phone. So it's hard, but we were able to accomplish it. It took us 2.5 hours, but once we got where we needed to go, we could start piecing the case together. We could start getting our measurements done, and we do that. We go out there, we measure everything. We measure from tree to tree. We like our videos. Like Olivia, she's very accurate in her depiction in her videos because that's just what we do. We want accuracy, even down to how many yards from the trail a dry bag is. And that's what we did. We got freaking a rolly measure thingy, one of those wheel things, and we went out there and measured the whole place up. We have the measurements. If we needed to recreate it from a blank page, we can diagram it from a blank page. We've got all of the measurements. We've went out there several times to make sure we have the accuracy because like the rope in the tree that I think has been cut down, that's not even there anymore. So we have the measurements from the trail to that, where that was located. So if we actually had to recreate that area out there digitally, I think we could. So that's really all we have right now on the Decker case. Let me just go here. Oh, yeah, we were going to go. Oh, that's right. I want to read this to you. Don't go nowhere. So why would the police investigate? Oh, this, damn it, this is not for this one. This is for Lily and Jack Sullivan. So we're going to talk about this one at our afternoon show on the main channel. So let me move back past this one and let me go here. Let me just update and refresh and see if there's any more new articles out since then. No. So that is the latest information that we have about the Decker manhunt right now. Guys, we have a Facebook page, a Facebook group, and it's called Travis Decker Manhunt Discussion Group. That's exactly what it's called. Travis Decker Manhunt Discussion Group. If you guys have not subbed up for it, please go over there and follow that group. And as you guys are reading articles about this, as you guys are finding photos of these girls, of this area, of the search, dump those all in that Facebook group. So me, as well as everybody else that's following this case, has access to it. And that is Travis Decker Manhunt Discussion Group. If you have theories, if you have speculation, put that in there. Those help drive creativity when you're looking at a situation like this. Where could this deranged man go? Sometimes it takes creativity to figure that out. So if you want to be part of the manhunt and you want to have all of the information and you want to be part of the problem or part of the solution, not part of the problem, go over there and be part of the manhunt and drop anything and everything you're finding out there in social media, on mainstream media, articles you're reading, if you're seeing photos, if you see movement from the search efforts, moving from one location to another, we need to know that. Everybody needs to know that. We are invested in getting Travis Decker off the streets and bring him to justice. Again, I'm kind of melancholy about this. I'm kind of concerned for Whitney with him on the run. There's just a lot of concern. And I think that once we get him off the street, I think the concern level will come down to a reasonable level. But right now we have a crazed man that was able to have it in him. Not just, this wasn't, I want you to think of how you've learned these girls lost their life. You guys know the graphic nature on how these children lost their lives. I don't understand how someone can do that, let alone a father that taught them to walk, changed their diapers, held them when they cried. That I can't understand. And I'm not going to. So we have a manhunt out there. I want to thank our sponsors. Thank you, Melanie and SRK. Thank you. Eventually we will do, it's probably not going to be today, maybe tomorrow on Friday. I'm not sure. It might have to wait until next week sometime, but we're going to pull the maps up. We're going to follow him, but I'm hoping that as close as they were last night to him, if that truly is him, then they're closing in on him. And I expect him to be rounded up in the next, 24 to 72 hours. I can't imagine, if that truly is him, it taking more than 72 hours to round him up. But we don't know what kind of conditions they're in. It's rugged mountain terrain there. There's a lot of places to hide and lay low. So, and there's some empty cabins up there as well that could provide cover for him, along with other places like caves and mines and, just different places. So just be safe, be vigilant, and keep your eyes open. God bless. From the East Coast to the West Coast, we are everywhere true crime is. We are asking for the public's help. We are searching in the woods. We are doing what it takes here on the Bullhorn Betty channels to find answers to the most alarming cases we have been watching on the news. I can tell you personally that I have traveled this entire country seeking these answers and bringing that content right here to you here on the Bullhorn Betty channels and Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories.
We are happy with the work that we've done. We've brought many answers to the public, and we have defied mainstream media in our pursuit of the truth in these cases. We will continue to work, we will continue to fight for these victims, and we will continue to tell their stories here on my channels. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty brand of channels and the Coffee Club. Thank you for your love, thank you for your support, and more importantly, thank you for allowing me to bring these victims' stories to each and every one of you, advocating for each of these victims. God bless you, God bless America, and more importantly, God bless our victims.